Hey everybody, this is Kiki from Metal and Highheels, and I'm sitting here with Camden and Sabrina from Seven Kingdoms. How are you doing today?
We're good. Excited to be on tour somewhere other than America.
And you're playing Essen right now, or
Yeah.
you will play Essen in a minute.
Yes.
Did you look around the city? Did you see a little bit of the
I
area?
actually had to go to the local pharmacy so I could get some medicine because I'm having a
Sore throat?
sore throat-ish and bad headaches. So then I walked with the driver around and saw some of it. It's very nice.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything. I saw the back, the front, and the inside of Turok.
Tour bus and directly into the venue.
Yeah.
How's the tour going?
It's great so far. We've only been here once with Stradivarius, so it's nice to see that. No, it's just nice to see that when you do a tour like that there are people that come back to see you. That you made fans on those big support tours. So this is one of those ones where it's the bands aren't huge, but we're able to come back even just to have a tour and have some people in the audience. So it's nice to see that the support tours and all the stress and money that's involved with those pays off a little bit,
Have you seen a couple of familiar faces in the crowd?
Oh yeah.
From me going back and forth to MFVF especially, we've had a lot of those people in the audience, and then we've had reoccurring people from the Strato tour as well. Mm-hmm. So it's really nice to see them in the audience because it's kind of like, oh my god, I know these people.
Yeah, sure.
It makes it more homey.
Have you had a favorite show until now?
London was spectacular. It was the first time both bands had been there, but that's one of the best shows that we've had so far, and that was a great show. It was a cool city, great show. The Belgium show was good. Even Paris last night was a little light on the people, but those people were crazy. So it was fun. It was
And
great.
he got to have the hot dog he missed last time because we were sick. He was sick last time, and he couldn't eat it. It's almost a foot long. Bread with a hot dog and cheese all over it, and he wanted it.
It just
for
looks
a year.
good. And you pass.
Oh, I think that's this Polish sausage.
Probably. Yeah.
Kakawa?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that was what it was called, actually.
And, you see them in the cases, and you're like, oh.
Immediately, I want.
Sure. It's already been 2 years after the last release. When can we expect the next one?
As soon as we go home from this tour, we're gonna go start writing the next one. So we're gonna pretty much take the rest of this year and probably the majority of next year to finish writing it, make sure it's right. Gonna do some elaborate demos this time because we have some friends that can actually do actual recorded demos. So rather than piecing it together with fake drums and emailing people stuff and. So I don't know, it should be fun. Hoping to do some sort of recording by the end of 2015 so we can have a really good time to plan it for sometime 2016 would be nice. Mm-hmm. I don't want to put a date on it yet.
So
but
2 more years.
Yeah, roughly. I mean, it's weird nowadays, back 10, 15 years ago before we were even in this or even thinking about it, people were trying to put out albums every 2 years, mandatory almost, but with the way the industry is, just it takes longer to do something.
The finances is the part that kills you. I mean, if we had the money, we can have them just flying out. But
Sure.
In the long run, it's better to take your time because you get a better product too. So
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, it's not like the fans are gonna leave you because you haven't put out a record. Actually, it's you take the lesson from Blind Guardian and people just get even more pumped about it because they had to wait so long. So
You have a good feedback anyway.
yeah, I mean, we're not trying to do it on purpose, but it's just a matter of making sure the record's right and it sounds the way we want it to, and also that we can afford a recording quality that is what we want to. Mm-hmm. So we're not just going to go record somewhere because we can afford it. We're going to wait till we can have the recording that we want to have it want to sound.
So you feel, let's say, no pressure at all to release another one
No,
every 2 years, every 3 years?
Yeah, and like I said too, there's a
all
lot
the
of
other bands too in the scene.
There's a lot of other things too that we'll be dealing with once we get home, as far as who's going to release the CD, this and that. So there's a lot of other things that we're going to sort out. Hopefully on the good side. Once we get home, and especially once the album's done, and we'll start handing it to the right people.
Cool. This is the first time that you're featured on our magazine, so you have this opportunity to tell us everything about yourselves. And of course, I read online that your music is influenced by the novels of George R.R. Martin.
Yeah.
And is there an influence of the series, of the HBO series, in there too?
I would say no, but yes. It mostly comes from the book series, but the actual TV series gives us the face of the characters, and it helps establish them more. You know, for example, Tyrion is one of my favorites, and in the book he's amazing. In the TV series he's amazing too, and it just helps you just kind of like
put a picture with words.
Yeah. Especially with like "The Fire Is Mine," the actual song with Daenerys losing, Drogo. It gives you the emotion that they projected in the actual scene of it. So it helps us portray it a little bit better. And then me and Camden always get the Khaleesi and Drogo, anyways, because that's kind of we kind of look
That's
like
right.
it.
I see it now.
Yeah, our original vocalist Brian, actually, he was the one that kind of like thought it would be a cool lyrical content. So we kind of, once he left, he still helps us write the lyrics for a couple songs, and he's still kind of a part of that creative process with the lyrics. So it's kind of nice, it's always better to have several brains in one song than one,
Yeah.
So it's cool.
right.
Kevin, Aaron are the ones that have made it most of the way through the book series. I honestly just don't have as much time as I like to just sit there and read it, nor do I really like reading, to be honest. But Sabrina's read it a little bit, but I really count on them to kind of, give me the story, and then we kind of take the story that they give us and kind of just make it fit into the song with, syllables.
Yeah, basically how we get the lyrics to music is obviously you write the music, and then however the music feels that's the one you choose that the words go with, because everyone, there's a huge argument still to this day, music's more important than lyrics, but to us it's kind of, it has to play both parts, because you can't have weak on one side or the other, because it's not a good song if one side is weak.
Yeah.
So that's how we we put them together as they fit. So
But there are for sure other topics that influence your lyrics too, right?
Yeah,
It's not only
we do personal songs. Like I wrote a song about being able to, the battle of learning to love yourself and being able to believe in yourself, and that was Cardia. And then Fragile Minds Collapse, Kevin wrote that, and that's just I can't answer for him on like how that song is portrayed, perhaps. Kevin, do you want to elaborate on Fragile Minds?
Fragile Minds, I don't know, it's kind of about someone who's kind of losing their mind, kind of like going insane, they can't differentiate reality from their fantasy. So this is kind of like someone struggling with, I guess you could say, I don't know, just going insane, mental problems. I don't know.
Okay.
For some reason I thought that was an interesting topic.
It is very interesting.
And it was a little different, maybe, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, these kind of very personal subjects, do you have to, or do you feel you have to put them in the context of the novels, of the...
Sometimes. I like the fact that, we'll have, 3 or 4 songs on the George R.R. Martin stuff. 'Cause that's kind of like what we are, the face of the image of the band is kind of that now. So we'll always have probably 3 or 4 songs that are dedicated to that, and then we like, sprinkling other song lyrical concepts in, like
games.
Things that we like, epic video games, epic movie, personal experience, just everything really. Anything that we think is cool or people can relate to, is what we choose.
Do you feel maybe that through the series you have gotten more fans or reached more people?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice because like you can go up to somebody who doesn't even listen to metal and be like, hey, like you watch Game of Thrones, right? And they're like, oh yeah, it's like, well, you should listen to my band, and it's like, oh right, yeah. And then it kind of gives a crossover almost to people that don't necessarily listen to this type of music, and they have, once you find a relationship with those people, it's a lot easier for them to want to go check out your music because they are into that, and they don't really look and say, oh, it's metal, but they don't really think about it like that. It's like, oh, it's just music, and it's a band that does something cool like this. So.
That, and when they're searching online and they type in 7 Kingdoms, or they type in Game of Thrones, our music videos are coming up. And then there's fans. I think it was from Italy. Don't quote me, but there was a kid who took the King in the North song and put the footage from the Red Wedding to it. And that's
Spanish.
Spanish. Okay, excuse me. I'm sorry. And it's got like lots and lots of views. I mean, it's just like, and that alone is helping the crossover.
And it was cool too for us to see like the King of the North song kind of played over the footage of that, because it really like
I wanted to cry.
Yeah, it puts the song,
I was gonna say it was quite heartbreaking.
Yeah, it puts the song in perspective. You know, it's like you know when we're sitting there, because we started doing the music before the HBO series even existed. I mean, we did. Our first album was done before, like even like Blind Guardian did their Game of Thrones stuff, you know, and just the fact that we have the visual of what we think is happening, and then the series comes along and actually does it. It's just like you're like, oh man, that's crazy. It's kind of wrenching.
The one thing we hope is one day the TV series will be like, hey, Seven Kingdoms, write a song. That's the one hope. It may never happen.
But it would be amazing.
Yeah. But we know that the guy that plays Tyrion listens to metal. So
really?
Yeah. So and then we actually had, I can't remember the kid's name. I'm so sorry. He actually went to a signing with the cast from Game of Thrones, and he took our CD. And he's like, will you sign this? And he's like, oh, you got signatures from the other cast, because nobody else was there. It was just him. And he's like, no, there's this band, Seven Kingdoms, that writes about the Game of Thrones. He's like, man, you should listen to it. And he had Tyrion sign it.
Wow.
And also the book. One of the books he had him sign it. So that's pretty awesome. So he kind of already knows-ish.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's listened to it, but that alone is awesome.
Of course. I think in the States there aren't as many female-fronted metal bands as there are here in Europe.
Yeah.
I guess there's a scene, but is that an advantage, or has it been a disadvantage for you?
It's an advantage, but the thing that's kind of like the downside of it is that in the United States, female-fronted metal is not as accepted. For example, like when you get, when you have females in front of music, it's mostly like arch enemy. And when the agonist was what's her name? Alyssa. When Alyssa moved into there, so it's mostly harsh vocals, and then so when you come over to Europe, it's more there's a more greater amount of genres with female singers. So I mean, it's really good, and it also stands out among all the other bands. But in a way, sometimes you kind of get like, not necessarily always a sexist kind of thing, but they're like, oh, the metal's a man thing, So here it's more accepted. There it's working its way in. So it's a slow progress.
I mean, in general, in the U.S., like there's very few up and coming new power metal bands and new female-fronted metal bands in general. So as far as from a Floridian or East Coast standpoint, it's nice. It's kind of a catch-22, because like we don't have a lot of bands to play with that are like us. So we like usually try to find friends bands, like even if it's death metal, just to have bodies in the club. You know what I mean? And we get along with everybody. We have a lot of friends. But also it's good because, if we were playing death metal, there would be, like in Florida per se, there would be like 60 bands that play death metal, you know what I mean? So it's much harder to sound different when you're doing that, rather than being the only band in the state that does what you do. And I'd still rather prefer to be doing what we do, even if it's not as popular, because we're the only people in the state that do it at this point in time.
Yeah, because when someone does come and looks specifically for that, they're like, oh, Seven Kingdoms.
And it definitely, I mean, like once you like the people that have seen us like over there, they like once you see us, like it's like, oh, this is like something completely different,
Yeah.
So I think it really helps out a lot right there.
Do you have any funny anecdotes or some experiences you could share with us from the music business and the band life in general?
It's just fun. I mean, nowadays it's I always tell myself that it's almost impossible to live off the music until maybe 15, 20 years from now even. So like the first thing that we try to do is get the band to the point where like, we're drawing enough people, selling enough merchandise to where all of our tours become a wash. So that way we're not putting money out constantly to go do this, because that's all we've done for the last
it
ever
is
since
so
the beginning.
expensive. It's like when you spend your entire life just working to play, it can be very expensive. You know, it's not a cheap industry at all. I mean, you're giving life savings away, and you're giving all of your money. I mean, you're basically able to put, you know, groceries in the house and pay your rent, and the rest of your money is going towards paying plane flights, buying new equipment, you know, just buying onto shows.
Renting a bus.
Yeah, I mean, so it's, eventually we're hoping, you know, you reach the peak, and then after the peak, you're supposed to get the, you know, the return.
reward.
We're getting close to the point where we can, you know, do almost comfortable tours without dipping into money. I mean, you still have to front a lot of stuff, and then, you know, make it back at the end with the hope. But like I said, you know, in the next 3 to 5 years, I'm hoping that like the band becomes like self-sustaining almost, and that's like the first bit of success I think that any band today can look forward to, and I'm just looking forward to it, because I mean, then it's just a big paid vacation.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice after you see all your hard work pay off finally, you know.
Of course.
So
It's like putting yourself through music school, really.
yeah, it's just like
You
anything.
put the same amount of money into a degree as you would
Oh
music.
yeah, if not more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's fun. It's just you get to see the world. You know, I'm lucky I get to see the world, and I get to see it with my wife. And then you know, it's a very rare combination for someone to have. So I'm just very thankful for what we got already. And I mean it's fun. This tour specifically has been a lot more fun than probably any other tour we've had, because we have people that are in charge taking care of things, rather than let's drop 7 Kingdoms off in the middle of Europe for the first time and
Let them figure it out. Let them
Figure it out.
speak another language. Let them figure it out.
yeah, like last time it was just the band, like literally, and like we just had no idea like how things work just logistically, like with renting a bus and this and that, and it was very stressful on my side, especially just because I had to handle everything, and it's just, you know, a bunch of hidden costs here and there. And now like we got Lars, is actually our manager, and he like takes care of it, and we're actually just sitting here like, oh, we help bring the gear in. It's like, oh, we get to play now. So and like it's like, what? We have 2 hours to check out the town. That's awesome. Like,
Yeah, we've never been able to experience that. Normally it's like set up, play, pack. There's no seeing nothing except like whatever's like a block away is the closest you can
This
go.
tour's been very comfortable, and you know, it's just, you can tell with how happy everybody is on the road, and you know, it's fun. This one's been much more fun than any of them.
That, and the feeling of it is also a lot of opening bands get underdogged because they're inexperienced, and thankfully we're with a group of people that they have this big brother kind of thing where it's just like, oh, come with me, we'll have fun, you know. And so it's just like it's nice to see that, because you know there's a lot of times where you'll experience where someone's just kind of like, you know, like, well, you know, like you said, dropped off here, you can figure it out. You know, it's nice to have someone be like, here, we'll help you. Well, you know, so it's that's how it really should be in my opinion. But
or even someone just to tell you yes and no. You know what I mean? So you follow what they say, and it's just, rather than trying to figure out if it's a yes or a no. You know what I mean? So it's definitely very
less
good.
stress.
Yeah, much less stress.
So we were just talking about money. Do you still have day jobs?
Oh yeah.
Are they still music related, or totally far away?
My dad has a family business. We do custom paint on Harleys and cars and stuff. Like if you see my guitar when we play, it's like custom painted.
There's my microphone, but I'm not using it tonight.
But yeah, I do that. I also book. I have a festival in DeLand that I do. And then I book as many shows as I can. I just started actually trying to book as many shows as I can for my home state of Florida. Just I don't know. We've had our handful of promoters in Florida that we've either liked, but mostly we don't like them. And I started booking just us several years ago, just because I wanted to take care of it myself. And just this past year or two, I've kind of like set it up to where like I'm doing it now, and like I'm pulling off shows statewide with local bands just to keep the scene rolling around. You know, someone with experience is putting these shows on, so that way when the show happens, that you know, you don't have local bands pissed off, wondering where the answers are, because a lot of the promoters, they don't see the show from the band perspective.
Sometimes they don't even show up.
Then sometimes they won't even show up if it's a local show.
So then it's
like,
chaos.
you got the sound guy who's not getting orders from anybody, doesn't want to listen to the local band because, sometimes they're just so inexperienced, they say something stupid.
Yeah.
So like, it's just, I like to think that the shows that I promote, everybody enjoys them more. So I make the bands work a little bit harder than they would on a normal show, but in return, they get me working for them. And everything's, there's never a question about what's supposed to go where, who's supposed to play when. When you show up, the list of bands, the schedule stays the same rather than getting all jumbled up day of show. So, someone with experience taking it on, and that's what we try to do. And
he tries to make sure that they get paid too. If you're going to put in that much work, he's going to try to,
of course,
because a lot of times bands don't get paid. You're playing for free, and he tries to make sure that he takes care of them. That you get a decent amount of time to play. You get a decent amount of sound check. If you do a certain amount of tickets, you get paid. And if you are a really good band and you're really good to work with, he'll give you more shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. If you work for it, I'll make sure that they get the big shows, and they'll be the support bands for those. So.
And then he also does
very
restaurant advertisement.
Yeah, I do a little. I don't know.
All the day jobs.
Just pick up little. $50 here, $100 there. It just helps. It's just I have my fingers in a lot of different pots right now. And I think that's just the way it's going to happen. Even in general for a young American today, to just have your fingers in a lot of different areas generating income is what it's going to take for a young American to be successful in the American economy today.
Yeah.
And what do you do?
I waitress at a really cool restaurant called Bite, BYTE. It's it originally started out as a fancy tapas or appetizer restaurant, and then so I'm a waitress, I'm a bartender there, and then I work at a music venue as a cocktail waitress on Friday nights. Every once in a while I'll go and I'll detail motorcycles for his father for show when they're doing any kind of photos or shows. I'll come and I'll detail it for that, and then I don't know, what else do I do?
Any little odd job that comes up, we try to put her on it. Money's money.
And I did do the place that I work, Bite. I did do a show previous to coming overseas. I did a show where I did a bunch of just covers of radio hits and classics, just so I could raise enough money to pay for my food while I was over here. So it's I had enough money to pay for the rent and the plane flight, but I had to work a little bit extra harder, to
call it the Great American Hustle.
Yeah, it's like, I need to eat. So.
Okay, it was all very interesting. Is there something else you would like to say to your European fans?
Thank you for supporting us, and keep coming, keep supporting, and please keep spreading the word, and we will keep putting out great music and continue to come out to the merch table and say hello, and because we know that that's the most meaning thing is that you can enjoy the band and you can see the band, but nothing makes you feel more of a fan than being able to have a face-to-face. I may not be always to come out because of my voice, unfortunately that's the downside of being a singer. You have to protect yourself, and even now I'm having, but hopefully tomorrow the off day will.
Yeah, we had 7 days in a row,
for
so
a bit of rest.
Yeah, but as long as everybody keeps there, we try to be as human as possible. We're literally just people, so it's just, there's nothing different from us besides we just work really hard. Anybody could do this as long as they have
the drive
to do it, and a little talent on it too. I'd like to think.
A little bit of talent, a little drive.
I always say that if you have the drive, you could take even crap music and make it. It's just about how bad do you want it. So it's all in the show, and how bad do you want it. So I hope that it shows we want it pretty bad.
That's right. Thank you so much.